Hello everybody, it's me, Liz Marie, and I'm back to do my May wrap up. Yes, this month is June, so May, my May wrap up. Just want to tell you all that I am finally over being sick. I have been sick, I felt like for a month now. Took forever for my body to get over that one. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing better than I have been doing. And none of you guys are sick, because I don't know what's been going on. But I feel like whatever's been going around has just been lingering and refusing to leave. Like it refused to leave me alone. It was so annoying, and I wasn't the only person that I know who recently got sick like that. I'm just like, what is in the air? I don't appreciate it. I didn't appreciate it at all. But anyways, let's get into what I read in the month of May. Okay. The first book that I read in the month of May is the second book in the Dandelion Dynasty, The Wall of Storms by Hellooooo. Hopefully I really should look that up since he's going to be brought up more. I'm going to finish the series. But average rating on Goodreads is 4.35. I gave it 4 stars. Let's see, what's the synopsis? Kunagaru, now known as Emperor Ragan, runs the archipelago kingdom of Dara, but struggles to maintain progress while serving the demands of the people and his vision. Then, an unexpected invading force from the Hellooooo Empire in the far distant west comes to the shores of Dara, and chaos results. But Emperor Kuni cannot go and lead his kingdom against the threat himself, with his recently healed empire fraying at the seams. So he sends the only people he trusts to be Dara's savvy and cunning hopes against the invincible invaders, his children, now grown and ready to make their mark on history. So yeah, the children, years have gone by. Each of these books hold a lot of information. I mean, they're like 500 pages. I think the first two, maybe the first was like 400 something. I think this one was like 500. Not really 100% sure on that one, but they are. Could you be any louder? Rude. But anyways, what was I saying? They're not like the thickest books in the world, but they hold a lot of information. Like everything's very descriptive. Her little pitter-pats across the floor are just so distracting in my little brain. Sage, I cannot concentrate with you just walking around like that. I put a blanket beside me so she could lay down and be beside me without whining at me for attention, and apparently it's not working. I'm gonna take a second. I need to gather my thoughts. Her pitter-pats were so cute. Sage, can you lay down? Okay. Hopefully she'll settle down now. What was I saying? What was I saying? Oh yeah, thick books. Not like the longest books ever, but very, very dense. They are very dense in information. So I remember saying in one of the wrap-ups from this past year when I read the first book, I got confused with characters because there's just so many characters, so much information. I did a lot better this time around. She's still walking around. I'm just good. My brain can't ignore her. Oh my goodness. But anyways, there's just so much information, and I wasn't prepared for it in the first book, so I was getting lost. I still got the whole gist of the story, but I would really like to reread that book in the future once I finish the series. But yeah, the second book did a lot better. I understood who everyone was, including the new characters. I paid special keen attention. Everything gets a background. You get like all the background for everything that's introduced. So like you'll get some flashbacks maybe for a character to explain how they got to be where they were. Or like you'll get background, like they came up with new weapons to fight against the Hellooooo warriors that were invading Dara. You get a lot of background on how they got to the point where they could make these weapons, like how they got the information, the thought process. which I found fascinating. And then you also get a lot of politics, like a lot of political intrigue. And at the beginning of this book, like the first half of it, I was really disliking Gia, and I loved her in the first book. And I was just like, just the things she was doing behind the scenes, because women can't be at the forefront of the politics, which is the case a lot of the times. So she was doing a lot in the background that no one else really, like very select few people knew what was going on. But it was all, everything everyone does in this book is in the hopes to make Dara better, but it doesn't always pan out that way. And yeah, by the time I ended this book, I was enjoying it a lot more than I did the first one, which is why I got it 4 stars. I really enjoyed the politics part of it, like all the aspects that went into that, all the like different plots between different people and how that would work out, and then like just the mindset of like having to fight this new enemy and come up with new ways to defeat them because they brought something that they never saw before. And yeah, just overall I enjoyed it. She finally laid down, the cutie, the little cutie. Let me see if I can get a video to insert in here. But there she is. Hi, Sage. You want to turn your little face so I can see your face? Huh? Almost there. Come on. Sage. Sage, come on. Turn around. No? Okay. I guess she's not going to. Yeah, she didn't want to turn around. The next book that I read for the month of May was a short story collection called Stitches by Hirokatsu Kihara, and the illustrator was Junji Ito, which is why I picked it up, because I love Junji. It got a 3.13 average rating on Goodreads. I gave it 3 stars. Let's see, synopsis. Horror manga giant teams up with spooky writer. A tumor shaped like a man's face slowly moves across a woman's body. That's disturbing to think about. That was the first short story. The sea shoots glowing balls into the sky, much to the distress of beachgoers. I don't remember that one as well. And a girl dressed up for the holidays has no eyes, no nose, nothing. Her face is a total blank. That one was a little creepy too to think about also. Hirokatsu Kihara pens true stories of unsolved mysteries stitched together with page after page of Junji Ito's original illustrations in the collection of 9 eerie tales and a bonus manga story. The bonus manga story is Junji's work, I believe. But yeah. My favorite part of this short story collection was definitely the art in it. I like the visualizations for each of the stories. But just like I've complained in the past, short stories aren't long enough to stay with me, so for the most part I do not remember what I read. But on average I did enjoy them. These short stories were like very short though. Like they were definitely on like the short end of short stories. So you spent even less time with each story. And the book was like that thick. Like it was a very thin book. So yeah. Next time I read a short story collection, I really should remember to actually like write the titles of each short story along with like some notes so I can remember each one better. But yeah, 3 stars. Most short stories collection I think gets 3 stars from me. Then I read the second book in the Sun Eater series called The Howling Dark by Christopher Rocchio. Has a 4.39 average rating on Goodreads, and I gave it 4 stars. The second novel of the galaxy-spanning Sun Eater series merges the best of space opera and epic fantasy as Hadrian Marlowe continues down a path that can only end in fire. Hadrian Marlowe is lost. For half a century, he has searched the farther suns for the lost planet of Vorgosos, hoping to find a way to contact the elusive alien Cielsen. He has not succeeded, and for years has wandered among the barbarian Normans as captain of a band of mercenaries. Determined to make peace and bring to an end to nearly 400 years of war, Hadrian must venture beyond the security of the Solan Empire and among the extrasolarians who dwell between the stars. There he will face not only the aliens he has come to offer peace, but contend with creatures that once were human, with traitors in the midst, and with the meeting that will bring him face to face with no less than the oldest enemy of mankind. If he succeeds, he will usher in a peace unlike any in recorded history. If he fails, the galaxy will burn. So I don't remember. I feel like I gave the first book in the series 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. Sci-fi is really my jam, and I need to read more sci-fi. So the second book I tried to get into as soon as possible. And this one really got me. More so on like the connections that Hadrian makes with the people around him, and like what happens between himself and certain people in this book. I want to try not to give spoilers in case you're interested in reading it. But yeah, there's just like there's a friendship in here. Like it's not at the forefront because all those relationships I don't think are really at the forefront of the story, because the story is just a recounting of Hadrian's life from him. So it's more like a biographic kind of story. It was not written like one. It's still written like fiction. Just the old Hadrian will sometimes insert himself. But where I was going, there's a certain relationship in here, and I didn't expect it to hit me as hard as it did, but like how it crumbles, and you understand why it happens with both the personalities that are involved. But it's just so sad because Hadrian can't forgive him for what happened. And when you can't trust and forgive your friend, like, I guess you can't be friends with them anymore. Sadness. And yeah, that part really got me. It was just so relatable, you know. But with everything else, he finally does find Vorgosos. And just the way things are described with what he finds on Vorgosos is very creepy. And I absolutely loved it. Like, if I should read some horror sci-fi. If that's a genre, I should get into that. Like horror sci-fi-esque stuff. Because this definitely had like some aspects to it that can be horrific to imagine. And to be in that moment, like if it was to actually happen, very unsettling. But yeah, he finally finds Vorgosos. He gets the chance to communicate with a Seosin prince leader, but does not pan out the way he thought it would. Which, you know, you make plans, follow through with it, and bumps in the road appear, and it does not pan out the way you want it. Especially if there's a lot of other people involved. There's other people that will just like throw a wrench in your plans. And then everything goes crazy. Haywire. Leads to the ending. I had no idea where it was going to go, and I enjoyed it a lot. Can't wait to read the third book. And Broken Binding is doing special editions for these. I'm going to get them. I'm pretty sure I'm going to love the series as a whole. I have faith. The fourth book that I read in the month of May was Bride by Ali Hazelwood. 4.06 average rating. I gave it 4 stars. I don't usually read romance heavy kind of books, but I haven't even read Ali Hazelwood, so this is my first Ali Hazelwood. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. Let's get to the synopsis before I tell you my thoughts. Okay, a dangerous alliance between a vampire bride and alpha werewolf becomes a love deep enough to sink your teeth into in this new paranormal romance. Misery Lark, the only daughter of the most powerful vampire councilman of the Southwest, is an outcast again. Her days of living in anonymity among the humans are over. She has been called upon to uphold a historic peacekeeping alliance between the vampires and their mortal enemies, the Wares, and she sees little choice but to surrender herself in the exchange again. Wares are ruthless and unpredictable, and their alpha, Low Moreland, is no exception. He rules his pack with absolute authority, but not without justice, and unlike the Vampire Council, not without feeling. It's clear from the way he tracks Misery's every movement that he doesn't trust her. If only he knew how right he was, because Misery has her own reasons to agree to this marriage of conveniences. Reasons that have nothing to do with politics or alliances, and everything to do with the only thing she's ever cared about. and she is willing to do whatever it takes to get back what's hers, even if it means a life alone in Wera territory alone with the wolf. So I had a lot of fun, as I said, with this book. And that's what I was looking for. I've been reading like a lot of heavy, dense fantasy books. So I was like, I just wanted something that was easy. I usually like paranormal stuff, like involving vampires and werewolves. So I was like, you know what, I'll give this one a shot. And I just gotta say, I just really liked it. The whole story was very predictable. Like, you can predict the whole plot while you're reading this book, but I wasn't reading it for the plot necessarily, so that didn't bother me. I was just there, like I said, to have fun, and I did enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Though I want to say, I hate her name. Why did Allie Hazelwood decide to call her Misery? And then I guess along with her personality, I guess it fits. And then also I went into this not really knowing anything about the book besides werewolves, vampires, and that one, you know, that thing. I'm not going to say it, but if you know, you know. I knew that, and that was it. Which also, intimate scenes, not as bad as I thought they were going to be. Very mild. So, with everyone bringing up that one thing in the book that is involved in intimate scenes, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, it was palatable, if I can say so myself. It wasn't horrible. It was just like, okay, that's a little weird, but all right. Another thing I did not like, I'm like, why is the blood green and purple? Like, the werewolf blood, I think, was the green, and the vampire blood was purple. I'm just like, you couldn't have picked other colors? Like, why couldn't it just be normal red blood? Or maybe like a deeper shade of crimson or something, pomegranate, I don't know. But just thinking, like, there'll be moments where, like, it says, like, low blushes, and it's, like, a green hue. I'm like, that's not attractive. It just looks like he's sick. He's ill. Like, is he going to throw up? Are you okay? Are you all right, sir? You're turning green in the face. I would have been really confused by that. And also, she's purple, so she just, like, has a purple pallor. I mean, I guess that's not as bad, because she's a vampire. So, you know, cold-blooded. Snake. So that kind of was like weird reading that, because just like imagine them blushing. I'm just like, you're turning purple or you're turning green. It's like, okay, that's kind of a little weird. What else? There was something else I wanted to say about this story. I don't think I can think of it, but I had a lot of fun. I thought it was cute. Yeah, the next book that I read for the month of May is To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods, the first book in Gods Beyond the Sky series by Molly X. Chung. Has a 3.40 average rating on Goodreads, and I really debated giving it a 3-star because it wasn't horrible. Like, I didn't hate it while I was reading it, but I decided to give it a 2-star. I'm still debating. It's between 2 to 3 stars for me. Synopsis: she has power over death, he has power over her. When two enemies strike a dangerous bargain, will they end a war or ignite one? Heroes die, cowards live. Daughter of a conquered world, Ru-Ying hates the invaders who descended from the heavens long before she was born and defeated the magic of her people with technologies unlike anything her world has ever seen. Blessed by death, born with the ability to pull the life right out of mortal bodies, Ru-Ying shouldn't have to fear these foreign invaders, but she does. Especially because she wants to keep herself and her family safe. When Ru-Ying's gift is discovered by an enemy prince, he offered her an impossible deal. If she becomes his private assassin and eliminates his political rivals, whose deaths he swears would be for the good of both their worlds and would protect her people from further brutalization, her family will never starve or suffer harm again. But to accept this bargain, she must use the power she has always feared. Powers that will shave years off her own existence. Can Ru-Ying trust this prince whose promises of a better world make her heart ache and whose smiles make her pulse beat faster? Are the evils of this agreement really in the service of a much greater good? Or will she betray her entire nation by protecting those she loves the most? So, that synopsis really sounded like something I would enjoy. It's like the fantasy, and then it has the technology aspect, so it's kind of like, could be kind of sci-fi fantasy fusion. I just, by the time I got to the end of this book, I didn't feel like a lot happened. Granted, it's not like a super long book, but for the pages I did read, I just felt like it was very repetitious, like on both ends of the protagonist, antagonist. They both, it just felt like it was going in a circle for me. Like, okay, we get it. They conquered your world. They're like colonizers and you're trying to get rid of them. You don't want them in your world. It was just the same messaging was repeated over and over again, but didn't sound any different. And it was just, I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. It was just like what I'm saying is repetitious. But like there's other thoughts in my head I can't get out. My brain feels muddled. I like can't get the wording out the way I want it. And then there's just like the typical kind of thing where like enemies to lovers kind of thing. So there's like the kindling for that. And there wasn't enough there in that aspect either. Like there wasn't enough tension in my opinion, or enough moments between the two of them for the love to be believable in my opinion. And I wanted to like it. I might still read the second book. As I said, I didn't hate the book. Like it's 2 to 3 stars for me. Maybe I'll just give it 3 stars. I don't know. It's just, it was too repetitive for me. I just felt like I kept reading the same thing over and over again. And then I understand why she did what she did, because the most important thing to her is her family, so she wants to protect them. But everyone else sees her as a betrayer of her own people. So, yeah. Not what I wanted out of the book, suffice it to say. But I love the cover. Like the cover was just so nice. I loved it. I almost bought it, and I'm happy I didn't because I'm not in love with it. The next book I read is Poor Things, and it's because I watched the movie, which led to me reading Poor Things by Alasdair Gray. It has a 3.96 average rating on Goodreads. I give it 3 stars. Goodwin Baxter's scientific ambition to create the perfect companion is realized when he finds the drowned body of Bella, but his dream is thwarted by Dr. Archibald McCandless' jealous love for Baxter's creation. The hilarious tale of love and scandal that ensues would be the whole story in the hands of a lesser author, which in fact it is, for this account is actually written by Dr. McCandless. For Gray, though, this is only half the story, after which Bella, aka Victoria McCandless, has her own say in the matter. Satirizing the classic Victorian novel, Poor Things is a hilarious political allegory and a thought-provoking duel between the desires of men and the independence of women, from one of Scotland's most accomplished authors. So, I watched the movie thinking, having Frankenstein in my head. Which is, the book is also compared to Frankenstein, which I can understand why, because he takes a brain and puts it in a lifeless body and brings her back to life, reanimates her. This is going to be a spoiler, but it's just because I want to talk about it. And I don't know if you've seen the movie or not, but it's also in the book. He uses the unborn child's brain to bring Bella back to life. Like she was pregnant and she drowned in the river, and he found her and uses that body, but he uses the infant's brain to reanimate her. So she's basically, they're showing the progress of her learning and stuff, and she still has the brain of a child, like she's rapidly growing. But I couldn't get out of my head, like, this is a child. Like this, she may have the body of a grown woman, but she is a child. So it was like with McCandless, like avidly spouting his love for her, like knowing her for 5 seconds. I'm like, yes, she has the body of a grown woman, but a brain of a child that is not fully developed. Does not matter that it's rapidly developing. She's still not there yet. And then she gets introduced to this man. I can't remember his name right now, but he's played by Mark Ruffalo, which this movie, like, I was like, Mark? I have never seen you in a role like this, and I'm very uncomfortable. Like, I don't view you like that. Because there's a lot of S-E to the X in it, you know? And I was just surprised. I was shocked that way how much is in there. But I'm like, it's described in the book, not like in detail, but like she's like voracious about it. So I understand, but I'm like, I think they overdid it in the movie. They didn't need to show as much as they did, in my opinion. I'm not a prude, but you know. Yeah, so that's happening, and then I'm just uncomfortable because I'm like, she has the brain of a child. And I don't care that she has the body of a woman. She has the brain of a child. And it's the same in the book, and I'm just uncomfortable. And I get to the end of the book where you get Victoria McCandless' view of things, because she finds the book of her husband's and leaves a letter like disputing the events, like they didn't actually happen. She was in her right mind the entire time, which is why I can appreciate the book more, but the movie did not include that. Visuals beautiful. I loved the costuming and the acting was great, but I just couldn't get over the child's brain part. So just thought I would talk about it. And it's very unsettling in my opinion. Like, they're treating her a grown woman, but she's not actually a grown woman. At certain points of this movie, she does not have the mind of a grown woman. And I was just like, I didn't like it. Didn't appreciate it. Nope, did not. All right, and then the last book I read for the month of May was the deluxe edition of Berserk. It's a manga. So volume 1 by Kentaro Mura, translated, I'm guessing, by Jason DeAngelis. Has average rating of 4.60 on Goodreads. I gave it 3 stars. Okay, have you got the guts? Kentaro Mura's Berserk has outraged, horrified, and delighted manga and anime fanatics since 1989, creating an international legion of hardcore devotees and inspiring a plethora of TV shows, feature films, and video games. And now the badass champion of adult fantasy manga is presented in an oversized 7x10. This does not give me anything. But Guts. Guts is the name of the main character. And he's basically been marked... How did they call it? He's been marked by, like, demons as a sacrifice. So yeah. So he's basically assassin, like, killing all these demons and evil things throughout his journey. And he meets this little pixie. I forgot the pixie's name. Adorable. Freaking love it. So freaking cute. Who keeps following him even though he swears up and down he does not want him around. And this is just, like, this whole big chunk. Like, I'm interested enough to continue. I enjoyed it. But it's just got a 3-star for me because there's just, like, there's a lot of violence and other stuff in it. It's very adult. It's a very adult manga, just to suffice it to say. But, like, he just does a lot of things where he's just, like, he has no empathy for others. But then there's moments where, like, you can totally just kind of see, like, I feel like it's a mask. Like, he's just hiding his true feelings, like, to seem like a big, tough guy because he has to do what he has to do. But I feel like, I mean, he is an asshole. I'm going to say he is an asshole, but I don't think he's as completely unfeeling as he swears he is. So, it's a lot of violence and a lot of fighting some bad demon-looking things. Some of them are very gross-looking in the manga drawings, but yeah, overall, I enjoyed Berserk. I will continue and see where Guts ends up. The majority of this had to do with the kingdom, with a king that lost his wife, and yeah, he has a demon inside him now, so he's just, like, very strict and overbearing and evil to his citizens. And then Guts shows up with the little pixie, and they find this man who was tortured by him. And yeah, they kind of want the same thing, and he kind of defeats that guy. So yeah, I wish there was an actual synopsis I could have read that would have given, like, a better overarching theme for this manga series. But yeah, I thought it was enjoyable. But I like kind of action and adventure kind of mangas. So yeah, that was the last book I read. All right, So that was all the books I read in May. A whopping 8. I think that's a good number. So I'm happy with it, with what I read. Most of them I did enjoy. There wasn't any DNFs last month, was there? I really should start writing those down. I don't think so, because in April I had like 2 DNFs and I didn't mention them. I forgot about them until I finished filming. I was like, oops. So, which I'm gonna get better at DNFing. Like, I am actually DNFing books this time around. Last year I was not DNFing anything. I would not enjoy it and I would finish it to the very end and be miserable. So I'm trying not to do that anymore. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please feel free to share any recommendations or what your favorite book from last month was. And I will see you in another video. Bye-bye.